Houston, and hello, USA. This is Dr. Vicky Cruz with the Hero Network. Welcome to the show. And so good morning, and thank you again, Aliento Radio, for having us here, for hosting us. So I am your host today, and Victor Escalante is working on some amazing projects that are going on with Hero, so we're going to share more about that. Actually, I'm going to share that now. I'm going to share with you that yesterday at Milby High School, we had over 100 students, I think about 110 students, that participated in the leadership program, and things are just flowing. Last week, we had just several events happening. Next week, we will have another parent time brought to you brought back to Milby by special requests from administration. Victor and I hosted, along with our coaches, another event, an event about 2 weeks ago. It was amazing. I love what's happening, and so many other exciting things. So I hope that you really follow us on Mission One USA, and that you'll continue to follow us on Facebook, TikTok, all social media platforms. So as we know that this month is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and it's really important that these topics are discussed. And we will tune in. This is going to be exciting. The Bridge Over Troubled Waters on the 30th, the last Wednesday of this month. We will also have next week the Hope Clinic. You've heard from both of these outstanding organizations. They are coming back to the Hero Network to talk about, the world in medical, what's going on with the underserved medical issues that are happening, along with the following week on a Wednesday, it's going to be on the new training that's happening over at the Bridge Over Troubled Waters. And of course, those who are part of the Hero program will very much see these resources. They'll be a part of who we are and what we do with bringing the unity in our community, resources, education, and empowerment for our city, the city of Houston. As I've always said, if we change the city, not if, when we change our city, because Houston, we have what it takes to be the solution for the nation. I've said it. I know that Steve Kleinberg has said it, and it's been prophesied. So in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing. I want to introduce to you someone very special to me. I met her, love her energy. This person is a Milby Buffalo, so we're going to talk about Milby. We're going to talk about so many wonderful topics about what's happening, and I'm going to introduce to you someone, Anne-Marie Lopez Protz.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, clap. Anne-Marie is so inspiring. She's done so much work throughout Milby, through the co-ed program. Talk to us. I know she's a buff. What class?
1987.
1987. And during your time at Milby, you were raised in the neighborhood. Talk a little bit about Anne-Marie.
Yeah, so I was, by the grace of God, I was raised by a village that kept me close to the community of Milby High School right off Broadway. I live with my grandmother, and she'll come into the story in a minute. So I was at South Maid, I was at Dede, and then I went over to Milby High School. Graduated in 1987. My time at Milby was such an empowering adventure. I would put it to you that way. In 85, I became a member of the Milby Co-ed Cadet Drill Team, which really expanded our opportunities. Became an officer then my junior year, became another officer my senior year. I was also the editor of the high school yearbook in 1987. I was on student council. It was such at the time, in the 85, 86, 87, the time period I was there at Milby, the administration gave us such an empowering environment, a space for us to grow and create. And so that's what I took away from Milby. Now, the Milby Co-ed Cadets, founded in 1926, so we're going to talk about their legacy in a second. They are an organization that was so revered when I got to Milby, it was, hey, were you a co-ed? It was a really big thing. We didn't know it at the time, but our foundation of the co-ed cadets was founded in 1926. We were founded as a pep squad, became a drum and bugle corps, then became a dance team, and they're still in effect today. They may be the oldest drill team in Texas.
Wow.
That is huge. That is huge. The Kilgore Rangerettes, a lot of people know about them. They were founded in 1939, 1940. A great collegiate drill team. Well, we're the Houston Texan, or the drill team of Houston that Milby inspired. That what I would say the environment of Milby inspired the co-ed cadets. And so I brought an old picture of the drill team, how we numbered in the 200s at one time. And this is an important artifact. It's an artifact. Our organization, I'll talk about myself first, and I'll talk about the organization. So I am homegrown. I was born in Pasadena, raised in South Houston, was fortunate to go to Milby. Today, I'm a business owner. I'm an insurance broker, one of the few in Texas and the few in the country that's Latina, owner of an insurance brokerage agency. My clients are anywhere from 2,000 to 2,000 employees. I go in and help design employee benefit programs. I would never have heard of this job when I was a teenager, but the skills I got from Milby, being a co-ed cadet, being an officer, leading an organization, orchestrating, choreographing in student council and in the yearbook, making really important decisions at the age of 15, 16, 17 for other people to organize an instruction, really gave me some of those skills that I think helped me accomplish where I am today. I've been in the insurance industry for 35 years, and an industry dominated by not people who look like me, Latina, someone with not a college degree, but someone who was given the opportunity to excel in an environment. And so that's me. And I'm before you get surprised, I'm a third generation Latina business owner. And I brought a pen for you today. If you read the top for me.
Jovita's Distributing Company.
Jovita is my grandmother. And when she retired from a pawn shop, she used to work as a pawn shop, jewelry shop downtown on the corner, Main and Prairie. Mm-hmm. She opened up her own distribution company. She saw the need that people needed to recycle their toner cartridges. So she would get in her little vehicle and she'd drive business to business and hand out her card and pick up the cartridges and recycle them and bring them new toner. She saw a business opportunity at the age of 67.
Wow.
I am a third generation, hustle, get the job done, show up, fill the need. And this is my personal theory. We're solutionists. My grandmother, my mother, myself, we're all solutionists. My cousins own businesses. One's a notary in Pasadena. One's a daycare owner in Navasota, Texas. We are a generation of solutionists who just solve problems.
Navasota?
Yeah, Navasota, Texas.
I grew up in Navasota. But we're going to get back to that. Yeah. Navasota. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that, sis.
Yeah, her name's Angela. She was my bed buddy. I mean, we grew up together. We were kids. Sleeping in the same bed, eating at the same table. Her mother, my tia Juanita, she raised me as one of her own. Like I said, by the grace of God in the village that raised me. It was my grandmother, my uncles, my mom, cousins, my great uncle. They all took part in raising me because my mother was a very young mother. She was 14 when she got married, 15 when she had my sister, and 17 when she had me.
Correct. That's what I wanted to ask you just really quick. If Anna Marie was one of our coaches. She spoke to our students. Her organization sponsored the Hero Program. And for one of the events, it was a Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. You and your husband, Stevie, came out. And she shared a story. It was so profound and it touched me. And I asked her, I said, can you also share what you shared with the students about your story? Because Anna Marie, you may just see her as a simple co-ed, and you see all these females that were doing amazing things at Milby, because exactly what she said is so true at Milby. Our cadets, I know because a dear sister of mine, Pat Herrera, lived right down the street. I looked up to her all the time. I wasn't a cadet, a co-ed, but I would see what you guys would do and how inspiring, how colorful you would come to the games, and you would see these girls, these young girls, as girls that maybe have it all together, but little do we know that Anne Marie has a story. Anne Marie has a compelling story that drove her to becoming her own hero, that drove her not just to becoming her own hero, but to find the inspiration that she needs to push others forward. Can you share to the audience a little bit about that story?
Sure. So as I said, I was raised by a village. My mother was a very young mother, right? She wasn't ready to take on that responsibility. My grandmother lost her parents when she was 8. So she became a migrant farm worker. Migrant farm worker at the age of 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. She never finished 3rd grade. She never had the opportunity. When you're traveling and you're a migrant farm worker, you don't get the opportunity to have consistency in school. So she never finished 3rd grade. My mother never finished 7th grade. I did finish high school, took a little bit of college, but then the business world called me. I found my niche, and very luckily I have a mentor, a female vice president, who said, Anna Marie, I want you to do more. I see you do more. Luckily, my grandmother was a minister, and she put me always in the front row of the church, and she put me in Christmas plays, and I always had responsibilities that gave me skills and gave me speaking skills. Very fortunate that I can talk to anybody. That skill came from being bounced around. I have several elementary schools on my transcript because I was just bounced around. I was a little bit everywhere. When I got to Milby, I think the stability kicked in. My group of friends was the same. And I leaned on them heavily. They didn't really know it, but their parents were mentors to me. I would watch how they would interact. I would watch the businesses they were in. I would watch my friends and how they thrived. And it became a little sad toward my senior year because they all had parents who gave them a little guidance on college, trade schools. Everybody had a plan. And here I am walking the halls of Milby my senior year, and although the environment was rich in its independence, that we as students could create things, we could structure things, we can coordinate things, especially with cadets. And it gave us responsibilities. When you give a child a responsibility and you let them do it in their own way, it's very empowering. But as my friends were planning to go to college, I wasn't. I had no clue what I was going to do. And what I shared with the students that day in Hero was I was just as lost as I could have ever been walking the halls of high school as a senior. I didn't have a plan. I felt a little bit of hopelessness was there because I just didn't know what I was going to do when I left. When you're editor of the high school yearbook, when you're 3rd in rank of the Milby Co-ed Cadets, which is a great organization, when you're in student council, and all of a sudden,
you don't know. Let me ask you something. And we're going to get back that where she didn't know. But with the kids today that you saw, okay, at the Hero program when you were there, and you look at the children today, the students, and then you look at the students when we were at, that was like what, 30 plus 35, almost pushing 30, like 35 years ago we were in school, 40. What do you see? I mean, do you still see the same students that are lost?
A little, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, the same little confusion. Hey, what's out there?
Yeah,
They don't know.
They don't know. I mean, we really need more organizations, more education, more resources for those I don't knows, because there's a lot of them that they just don't know. They don't know from channeling their energy. They don't know how to ask for help. They don't know how to encourage themselves, respect themselves. There's so much, and it's just not in our school. Trust me. Victor and I were out in the juvie system last year. We went to apartment, to shelter. We went over to after school program, and I just don't know.
Yeah.
And so going back, we're going to go back and listen to this I don't know, but we just had to just throw that in there so you kind of just can see that, hey, that our children need more a push.
I think that's what
exposure.
I think that's what prompted some of the questions. And anybody in that room that day, even if their parents were guiding them a little bit toward college, you still have an element of I don't know what's out there.
Correct.
Even if you have a parent who's not really in tune with what college is or trade school or a path, employment, or another level of education or anything, that little bit of I don't know, a little bit of I'm lost a little bit.
Correct.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's resources. And I saw them ask those questions. And one of the most important questions to me was, do you have to have a college degree to succeed? Right. And, if you want to be a doctor, success, college degree is part of the answer. But if you want to be a welder, don't have to have a college degree.
Correct.
Yeah, if you want to be an HVAC, licensed person. You don't have to have a college degree. There's other opportunities out there. So the little light bulb started going off, and that really ignited me. It got me excited.
Yeah. Yeah, we're excited then because, many of them feel like, what am I doing? You hit it. You totally on point. Our students don't know. So families, there are resources out there. Every school, anyone that's watching this, work with your counselor and ensure that you are being a bridge for your children's future, a bridge for the needs, asking, hey, what do you need help with? Talking to your kids. Mm-hmm. It is so important. Last week, Victor and I, or when we had our last parent engagement, the very first one at Milby, we were talking about that, and we talked about how, the dialogue and communication, and, we have to have that in the school, in the families, right? And letting them know that the schools, they do have resources. I know the admin there at Milby, the staff, they really work together as a well-oiled machine. And of course, to have us there, they were really grateful. And to all those coaches, thank you so much. Anne-Marie, we were talking about, and we've been planning, we've gone in with the co-ed. You have the alumni for the co-eds.
Yes.
But real quick, let's go back real quick to the I don't know. Anything else you want to add on your story?
No, just the diverse people in the room, everyone, I want to be very respectful. We don't know everyone's history, we don't know everyone's family. So out of all respect, I think being there, giving them the opportunity to ask the questions, I think to me was the most rewarding part of the day, just being in the room, giving them the opportunity to come up and ask questions. And at the end of the day, a gentleman came and shook my hand. And it's interesting because in my speech, I said, hey, when I see you, just come and shake my hand. Introduce yourself to me. I would love to hear from you. And he came to me at the end of the day, and it really touched me. He shook my husband's hand. It was all worth it. To make that little bit impact, let him know that someone is listening, meant a lot to me.
That's awesome. Well, it means a lot to us because I really believe, like you said, it takes that village. It takes us working together. Right now our students are so distracted. When we look at their feedbacks, we do feedbacks every class. We do pre-test, post-test, or assessment forms and what have you. And when we look back, what we're finding is they say that they're grateful because they're learning that there are tools. Mm-hmm. And they all talk about the number one feedbacks that I get back. Okay, there's three. One is helpful. They said, we believe we want to help. The second thing they do is we want to help in the community. The next one is focus, right?
Yes.
That they're learning. We've got to focus. And they all said, we've got to get rid of ourselves, not get rid of it, but be more balanced with it.
Recognize it's a tool, not a life.
It's a tool. It's not a life.
Yeah.
And the third thing they said that they wanted to take back with them, and when we usually hit these classes, is to try harder, to work harder. Because now, and what statistics say now is basically that, children are just not engaged after what happened in the pandemic. Yes. They're not engaged.
Yes.
So Anna Marie and I are going to we're going to talk about what's happening with our, at Milby. Victor and I, we could have spent anywhere all over Hero, bringing the Hero, program into every other place. We get calls from San Antonio. We've gotten calls from Laredo, Dallas, throughout Texas. However, what we have said we would do was stay there at Milby. And behold, did we know that shortly after, we've got 5 fallen buffaloes.
Yes.
This year alone. One was murdered in front of his home. He had just graduated. One was hit by a train. One was, actually, then there was one, little Izzy, that did not wake up on Christmas Eve, had taken a nap. And then we had 2 that had taken their lives within, I would say, all in the same week, maybe 2 to 3 days apart. And so little did we know that, okay, we're coming in. And little did I know that we are celebrating a centennial, that we are celebrating 100 years in 2026. And so to have the co-ed organization bring in the history, to have the Hispanic alumni
Yes.
carrying in the history.
Yes.
I mean, the Hispanic alumni, they said, what do I say? I talked to Antoine, what are we going to say? I said, oh my God, you're going to talk about the resilience of what you faced and why you had to create a Hispanic alumni.
Yeah.
And then we have our own alumni group. So I said, guys, we have to have and show the talent, the resilience, I mean, the hope that we ourselves, our story, because we all have that story. And these students, I mean, when they hear these stories, I mean, they are so ignited with stories like that you gave yesterday. We had Mario talk about his story, Terry and Mia and Jesse and Anna. And then the story of, and the main focus on yesterday was three things we covered on thinking beyond.
Yeah.
How do we think beyond? How do we gain our self-confidence? Right?
Yes.
And the third thing was on that resilience. And that's what I see at Milby High School is resilience. All the comeback stories. And we're going to talk about that next. You learned about Marie. We're going to talk about stay kind of within Milby and what's happening, because this isn't just a Milby thing. This is a Houston.
The city of Houston.
It's the whole city of Houston thing.
Yeah.
Because when you can hold on for 100 years to these kind of stories, when we can hold on to these stories and we stay together, we are so passionate about leading the herd for the next 100 years. What legacy are we leaving behind? Not just at Milby, but what legacy are you leaving behind is the question. What are you doing?
And what foundational steps are we building for the future, for the next students of the next 100 years?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Crime is elevating right now. Abuse is elevating right now more than ever. We're in the middle of crises right now with our finances here in the country, with what's happening with immigration. And these are people.
Humans.
Yes. This isn't about a Democrat or Republican thing.
No.
These are about humans that came in here for a better life.
I think human dignity can be respected.
Human dignity can be respected.
In any conversation.
And these are the things that students have to learn is being respectful. Being respectful. But how do they learn that, Anna Marie, if they're not taught that at home?
I wouldn't say that.
I can't say not all of them, but just if we're not taught respect, or we're not taught, these students here. But go ahead. What did you want to say?
I think being examples in front of them.
Yeah.
Being examples. I mean, my grandmother, I'll go back to my grandmother. She never sat me down and says, Anna, you need to learn this, you need to learn that. She lived it. No one taught me, hey, you need to get up early and get to work. I watched it. No one told me, hey, you need to be more respectful. I watched people be respectful to each other. And I tried really hard to just filter out all those negatives. And it's, I've been asked this question before, and I guess I didn't know that it was particularly me or anybody else, because I'm not the only one out there. Everybody out there who's come through being raised by a village and not having enough and being lost, everyone has their own personal strengths and personal stories. I'm just one. I'm just one of many. But taking all those good things that come your direction, I think it's possible with programs like Hero. You put those good things where you want people to see resilient leaders, respectful adults, asking questions. Hey, do I have your permission to share this story? Shaking your hand.
Right.
It's huge. It's a matter of respect. Seeing them eye to eye, looking them in the face. I'm gonna tell you can tell your story whenever you're ready.
Correct.
Whenever you're ready. I want to talk about Milby Centennial?
Yeah.
For a second?
Let's go for it.
The Milby Co-ed alumni, the way I got involved, and I'm going to give kudos to the people who brought me back to Milby, Okay, because 5 years ago, I was doing my thing, working, raising my kids, getting my last one to finish college, right? I got a message from Mary Morales, Dr. Mary Morales.
Yeah, yeah.
And she says, hey, do you want to come back to Milby? They started the drill team up, and do you want to come help them raise money and show them our ways, our traditions? I said, sure. Yeah, so I showed up. She was there. Sonia Ramirez was there. Sonia Ramirez and I used to choreograph together in 1985 and 86. So it was really, we all just walked in. We all giggled for the first couple of times we got together because we were just all overwhelmed by
They're so much fun.
There's so much history.
Yeah.
And there's so much that we remember Milby to be.
Correct.
Yeah, the building's different, the gym's different, the campus is different, the leadership's different, and we're trying to, learn all that. But we had a lot of fun, brought back, helped the drill team raise money. Well, when she did that, a couple of us got together when we were all done with the dancing, and we said, did you know Milby Co-ed Cadets were founded in 1926? I called my best friend's mom, who was a co-ed cadet in 1958. I said, hey, how old are the co-ed cadets? She pulled out her yearbook in 1958 and said they were founded in 1926. I'm like, oh, Milby's going to be 100. The co-eds are going to be 100. We want to know more. So I started doing my research. And in my research, I've got lots and lots of binders of co-ed cadets. This is our research. This is one of 15 binders in which we're doing research. And I'm gonna give kudos to the Alumni Foundation. Someone in their infinite wisdom about 20 years ago decided they were going to archive, digitize all the yearbooks. So over 60 yearbooks, close to 50, 60 yearbooks are digitized. Wow. And on the Milby website. The rest of them, the Co-ed Cadet Alumni Association that I belong to, we went and took pictures of all the yearbooks that are on the campus to get all of them. To get all the pictures of co-ed cadets in the front of the yearbooks, because we're digitizing, we're archiving and digitizing every co-ed picture we can find to submit to the University of Houston archives. We reached out to U of H and said, hey, I know you have the Austin High School drill team, but you don't have Milby.
Yeah.
If you don't have Milby, you're not complete.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so we had that conversation. They said, hey, we're inviting you. We would love to have your archives. So we started doing that. So that's why. And this is Antoinette's 1960 sweater.
Aww.
Yeah. She was a senior lieutenant. We actually share the same rank. She was a senior lieutenant. I was a senior lieutenant. So it's kind of sweet. But I wanted to show you this, how all this research that we've been doing in the digital archives has shown, and I want to bring this to you for two reasons. One for the history, one for the centennial, but one for Hero. The reason Milby exists is for a $500,000 bond that was passed. It's in the yearbook, 1926. This is Miss Vernon Jones Grimes. She was the Dean of Girls at Milby High School. Read the letters I've highlighted, what her focus was at Milby.
Her focus, and this was back in 1926?
1926.
1926. It says here, health, troubles, grades, conduct, ambition, failures. As director of the girls' athletics, she has 2 large classes in gymnastics and folk dancing, drills and marches. As public speaking instructor, she's also a public speaking instructor.
Yeah. Okay. What does that tell you? What does that tell you about Hero?
That we still are
doing the things
that we need to be doing.
That children still need the things they needed back in 1926.
That's right.
Health, wellness, to be learned, to be listened to let fail. Right?
That's right.
And
that's
learn
right.
from that. And then I also want to show you this, because this is important to my company and other companies out there. And if you're listening, and if you're a business owner, I want to say, where are you at? Where are you at? Because this is important. And I want you to read, this is a gift to the school, 1926.
A gift to the schools. And it says here, in the welfare of our boys and girls, that they might have an opportunity to look into the great field of science, the Texas Chemical Company located in the district comes to our assistance in every fine way. I need to show that to them, because I've gone to these companies and
exactly.
So the splendid gift comes in the form of laboratory equipment for chemistry and of the latest and most up-to-date type offered to the public.
I'm going to pause you for a second. When I went to Milby in 1985, you could only go there for 3 years.
Correct.
Your sophomore, junior, senior year.
Correct.
Unless you were in the petrochemical program. If you're in the petrochemical magnet program, you can go there in 9th grade. Milby has had 5 magnet programs back then.
I had no idea.
Yes. So a gift back in 1926 for chemistry for boys and girls, right? For both equally. Go ahead and read this.
To all of our readers will be interested in knowing that the value of this equipment installed will approximate $2,750.
This investment laid the groundwork for the petrochemical magnet program, for that science, deep, rich studying that went on in high school. So when you look at people today who are accomplishing things, you don't really think about this unless you focus back on where it all came from. Where it all came from. Milby had the equipment to teach you how to delve into the history and the studies of chemistry. If you didn't have that, how are you going to have the petrochemical plants in Pasadena? How are you going to have the oil and gas industry?
That's
how
right.
are you going to have those jobs? How are you going to have the big buildings downtown?
Deer Park, LaPorte, all the way down. I mean, we just run down 225.
Exactly. So the foundations have been laid. So as we look at the history, hopefully these are those stepping stones back in 1926 for the students. What stepping stones are we going to build?
Correct.
For 2026 on.
That's right. And we're excited that, you know what, now with, this the history that's captured to just push our, ignite our buffaloes into the future. So with that said, on next year, May the 27th and 28th, which is on a Friday and Saturday, we have a 2-day event. And for those buffs, keep sharing, keep participating. We need every buffalo out there to just participate. And through that, our children will know that there's embrace, that there's hope, and that that they too have vision for their future, right? And the values that they need. And so that's why it is so important that we continue to teach these kids how to find that hero and to find it, be a hero.
Yeah.
Be a hero to themselves and be a hero at home, school, and in the community. What you got there?
And so not everybody can show up in person, but if you can keep watching programs like this.
Right.
Keep going to our social media, our Facebook page, the new one you just created.
Oh yeah, for the Milby Centennial.
It's called Milby Centennial. There's also a Milby Alumni page. There's also a Milby Co-ed Cadet Facebook page.
And a Hispanic alumni.
Page and a website. I will plug our website. It's milbycoedcadetalumni.org. milbycoedcadetalumni.org. I brought you this, and I just want you to read the first sentence.
It says, owing in the fine spirit of cooperation in the schools, churches, and homes in Harris County, it has been possible to...
Churches, the YMCA, local community investments, they were going to bring all the resources to the students. They know they couldn't do it alone.
Correct.
So collaboration, the spirit of collaborating, working together, bringing organizations together.
That's the only way. That's the only way it's going to work.
There's the village, the Milby Village.
It's the Milby Village,
Yes.
the county-wide interest.
Yes.
Yeah? So while we push into our next topic with Anna Marie, we want to talk to her about her business when it comes to interests and investments and her company and the why to her company as to why she sows her seeds, her financial seeds into the community, not just at Milby, but just her heart to continue to sow in. And so let's talk about AMP and what you did without that college degree. Like she says, she's like, hey, kids were like, do you have a college degree? She's like, nope, I sure don't. But the success that she had came from the grit, her grit. And I believe it's a grit that's in so many of our buffaloes to say, you know what, anything is possible. So talk about these possibilities and what you do with AMP.
So I do with AMP. AMP is an insurance brokerage house. We are licensed in 4 different states. We operate in Colorado, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. We help business owners design their employee benefit packages. We have a firm philosophy that education is key to any programs. A lot of people just pay for health insurance. They find it online, they click, and they buy something, not really sure how to use it. We teach employees and their families of every business owner client we have. We teach them how to utilize their programs. Are there wellness packages? Are there pedometer trackers they can wear to earn extra points to turn into dollars to reduce their deductible? Our primary focus is education, but also to be that brokerage business partner to any company who wants to look for programs, health, dental, vision, disability coverage. We try to help them by recommending whatever programs that they're looking for. And every company culture is a little bit different. Whether you have 2 employees or 2,000, you want value for the money you're spending, for the investment you're making. Employers contribute a great deal to employee benefits. And if you're just paying a bill and getting an ID card, you're not fulfilling all the programs and benefits that come with that insurance product. So I've been doing this for 35 years. I absolutely love what I do.
Solutions in a bridge.
Yeah, I'm a solutionist. I go in there and I try to work with the business because every business owner is different.
Correct.
Every culture is different.
Oh, yeah.
Many of them, it's a fascinating opportunity to work in today's environment because I work with people who are 22 years old and do most everything on the phone. I work with people who are 64 years old, pre-retirement, and they really just use a lot of paper, right? And people love websites, people love social media, they love TikToks. We're making some AI videos, enrollment videos for our clients, and so just trying to delve in technology, but utilize them as tools. I will tell you, personally speaking, an insurance product, you can buy it over the phone, you can buy it over your phone, but never replaces the advice you get from an actual insurance broker. So if you have a great broker, keep them, they're valuable. If you need one, let me know, but that's what I do. That's what I do every day, and I love it.
I know you do. You're so passionate about it. She's
Yeah.
so passionate about it, and I appreciate you because, you know, you have that heart to help and to just, you know, like you said, if she's always like, if she's not part of the problem, she doesn't want to be a part of the problem, she wants to be a part of the solution.
Absolutely.
You know, and then you're not just in sales. You're like, she's not just to sit there and to sell something. She wants to sell the right product and not to, you know.
Yeah. I want to enrich your life in some way.
Yeah.
I want you to know that what you bought was valuable.
Correct.
You know, when we buy shoes, we test them out. If we don't like them, we take them back to the store. You know, we're a consumerist nation. We know how to buy things. But when insurance comes along, it gets a little fuzzy, right? You get a little glassy-eyed because it's a lot of words on that contract, and I'm here to help you understand it.
So correct. And so with AMP, I am so grateful for AMP for the, you know, the sponsorship, the support that you give. You don't have to do that. But why do you do it?
Because I am able to. My grandmother, when, like I said, she was a minister, on Saturday she'd pick me up and I'd stay at the church with her, and I would clean off the pews and I would stock the crayons for the Sunday school the next day, and I'd make the copies for all the kids to color whatever our lesson was of the day, to be a better person, to feed people who are hungry, to be patient with people who are impatient. She taught me those lessons, and when anybody would knock on the door of the church and say, you know, she had a way of reading people.
Correct.
And when they would come to the church, they'd ask for money. She said, if you're hungry, I'll give you a sandwich. If you want something to drink, I'll give you some water. If you need me to pray for you, I'll pray for you. My grandmother's mission was to help people any way she could. At Christmas time, she'd make buñuelos. She'd pick the pecans from her yard or their tree. She'd go get some tangerines and she'd put them in a bag and she'd take them to her neighbors.
Oh.
She gave what she could.
Correct.
And so I'm going to give what I can. And I'm no different from anybody else. Any other business owner, any other volunteer, whether you can cut a check for $5 or $500, doesn't matter.
Or 5,000, 5 million, 500,000, whatever it takes. So don't just go think small, but go ahead.
Exactly. Think big. And
think big.
But I want to encourage you to think long term. I want you to encourage think long term. Whatever you're investing time, finances, even if you bring up a box, you know, a big old bag of Cheerios or Cheetos, and you bring it and everybody can share it, that's
Correct.
You're helping. Your presence is supporting.
I know.
The next generation, and so I guess I'm giving because my grandmother taught me to do that.
Yeah.
And she taught me that was meaningful.
That's right. And it's something that, you know, I know that, you know, it's an investment. Our children, our future, our community, I mean, it's an investment. And I know that I was, and everybody knows this story, in 2023, I was running after the investment, chasing the green, chasing the dollar. And it was like, man, I want to just, you know, go buy more houses, and I'm going to be a Latina. The next, I don't know what I'll be, but I'm going to just make money. Go buy houses, apartments, and go do this. And then all of a sudden, I just felt something that just said to me, do you want to make the money or do you want to make leaders? And so I said, grab this hero program that I developed in 2018, 19.
Yeah.
During the midst of 2020, actually, the midst of COVID.
Yeah.
The midst of COVID. And bam, here I am. Here we are, because there's just no way that I can do this alone.
None of us can.
No, we
Yeah,
can't.
none of us
we
can.
can't.
Yeah.
We can't. You know, but it's when we each find our own purpose, our value, and say, that passion, I want to make a difference with it. I want to make a difference. And if that's you and you want to make a difference, we ask that you please reach out. Email me at info@mission1usa.com. I want to hear from you. info@mission1usa.com. Follow me on the my Facebook page at Vicky Cruz EV, or every other social media platform that you can find out on my page, mission1usa.com. Okay. And I'm going to ask that you please share this video. I want to thank you. But first, before we head on the show, because we've just got like 1 minute left, and I'm going to give this 1 minute to my sweet friend, sister, alumni, cohort, partner, mentor. She's my mentor.
Oh, thank you.
Anna Marie, what is it that you want to tell the community in your camera right there? Talk to them about what a parent should do for their children. Anything that's in your heart.
Gosh, there's so much things in my heart about helping. I'll go back to being a solutionist. We all work to solve problems. We all try to solve problems. We all attempt. Failing to solve a problem is not fatal. It's not final. Keep making an effort. Keep showing up. My mother, God bless her, I love her very much. She didn't have all the skill sets to be a parent when she was young, but luckily, my grandmother, my uncles, and everybody else kind of stepped in. I am very, very grateful. So that's one of the main reasons I support any organization helping youth. I see myself there. And give it a try. Show up. Help us out in any way you can. We'd love to have you. Show up, even if you don't know what to do. You'll figure it out after a while. So support people who their future is really important. It was given to me by many people who volunteered, many people who supported me when I was young, and we look forward to seeing you guys there.
So thank you so much. And as far as AMP, how can they reach out to AMP or want information on your business, Anna Maria? Like, how can they reach out to you to?
You could actually just Google my name, Anna Marie Protz, or you can search for ampinsuranceagency.com. You can find our website there. You can learn more about my organization and what we do as a team, how we operate, and how we can support your company in whatever way you need us.
That's right. So to those that are watching, thank you so much, sis, for being here. I appreciate you. And to everyone who has supported Hero and has supported Mission One USA, because Mission One USA is our nonprofit. We believe in unity in the community, but we do that through teaching our children resilience, teaching our future, teaching them the growth mindset. But again, Hero is not just Hero for students. It's for families. It's for corporate companies. I mean, it's a dynamic program, but right now in this season, we choose to invest in the children to make that difference. So please be a part of it. We thank you. We thank you for everyone. Aliento Radio. Gracias otra vez. And again, until next week, we do have our coaches class, April 29th, Milby, April 28th. On April 30th, our heroes, Milby High School, will be at Willow Creek. We've got volunteers that are coming. If that's you, we got Dia de los Niños at Willow Creek Apartments. We want to hear from you. We will be back at Milby May the 3rd. Join us. Be a part of the movement. Again, be a part of the movement. We need you, and we thank you so much. Make it a great day. Make it a great week, and we love you.
Thank you.